Oh, hey there. Oh, baby. What a night at Chase Center last night as the Warriors rallied from a 20-point deficit. And we say good morning to everybody out there getting after graveyard shift. If you're at work, what is happening? Good morning to everybody getting to work. Drive safely on those roadways. It is wet and it's nasty. And we know how Bay Area drivers get down in the rain. It is not funny. Drivers have gotten worse and worse and worse by the week. Drive safely, folks. Look for your blind spots there. Hello there, everybody. Or hey there. So everybody get out there graveyard shift.
So next week when the Masters is here, because the Masters is coming up, I think in 2 weeks, we should do the Masters music with you. Oh, hey there.
Oh, hey there.
Now give me the drop.
There. Oh, hey there. Hello, friends. Oh, man.
Instead of hello, friends.
Oh, buddy. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. Oh, baby.
All what a game last night.
Let's get to Anthony Slater, our 95.7 The Game insider, who's, I know, praying for a Sacramento Warriors playoff series in the first round, something we'll touch on in a second. But Slates, good morning. I saw you at halftime, and obviously I was down in the dumpster, down 17. I'm thinking, the lowest first half of the season. 14 turnovers. It couldn't beat the press. They turned it over on the press. They had to call a timeout because they couldn't end ball to bound against the press. And all of a sudden that flipped switch. But when you watch the game, because I'm having a hard time with this one. And Draymond Green was very important in that second half. And you were sitting there in the press where Steph Curry and Steve Curry, and everybody said Draymond Green lit that fire. But the Pelicans went on an 8-0 run after that. And then they come out in the third quarter, they go on an 8-0 run, but I thought it was DiVincenzo showing some fire, Stephen Curry, obviously. What was your big takeaway from the Draymond Green situation there late in the second quarter?
Well, I agree that he upped their focus and their intensity, and he raised the stakes of the game. The arena felt different after all that. And they were dead. I think he correctly diagnosed that they were in need of a jolt of life. Now, it was very risky. What if one of the referees during all of that decided, you know what, that's enough. Second technical, you're gone. Which could have happened, right?
Right.
And so then he misses the rest of the game. They lose, right? If he's not in that second half, they lose. He's suspended the next game. It feels like the season might be, cooked. Like it was kind of on the razor's edge a little bit. But they didn't eject him. I think his tactic worked. I really do. I know what you're saying. They did go on a quick run, but I can imagine the locker room at halftime. I don't know exactly what was said, but I just think he, kind of grabbed the entire team, coaching staff, right? He was yelling at their coaches, like pretty much every one of them during the game, and kind of jolted them awake. He was a plus 26. I think you mentioned that. So I do think he did have the emotional impact that he intended last night, but man, he really was wobbling on the edge where that could have, dipped into a disastrous zone.
I think a lot. I'll tell you what I was feeling in real time. I was like, do not get tossed out of this game. Like this game is too important. I'm pissed that the Warriors didn't have the kind of focus and energy level that they needed in what I deemed to be a must-win game. And then B, can't have our leader getting tossed out of a game that's must-win. And then obviously the ramifications of that down the line. So I'm with you on that. And do you think any of this stuff will get reviewed by the NBA and either rescinded or them adding anything to Draymond's technical list? Because, like you said, he could miss a game. That would be crucial.
Yeah, I don't think they'll add anything. Now, do they rescind something? I would say no, but I would have definitely said no on Luka Doncic the other day. Right. And suddenly he's playing in the Pacers game. I think there were a lot of people within the Warriors that were scratching their head, including Draymond, about that one. So I'm not ruling it out, I guess, but since he didn't pick up an auto one-game suspension, I assume the league probably won't rescind it. The strange part, it's not good for Draymond to miss any of the remaining 5 games, but if there's a game he can miss and you feel pretty comfortable about them still being able to win, it's against the Spurs in Chase Center. On Friday, after 2 days off, but entering Friday night. So, but no, I wouldn't expect any type of addition.
Obviously, Steph Curry was spectacular last night. We'll get to him in a second. 39 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists. The second half, he had 22, 6, and 5. A lot of people will go home there and be like, oh, those are all-star numbers, and they are. He was spectacular, but I thought Steve Kerr and Jonathan Kuminga grew up. And where I'm getting at, Anthony, is that Kuminga picks up 2 early fouls. He's a non-factor really in that first half. But Kerr showing trust in him more so than I think at any point this season. and Kuminga ends up playing 31 minutes and being a factor in that lineup with Kuminga, Poole, Curry, Clay, and Draymond really played well in that fourth quarter. I thought it was a growth moment for both those guys, Steve Kerr and JK. What do you think?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I like, it was kind of risky to start him. It always just feels risky when they pull Looney out of the starting lineup because you're like, he's proven it. Like it's just so strange how the go-to move is always to bench like their steadiest force. But got him on Ingram. I think sometimes when he gets delivered those type of high-profile assignments, he like mentally locks in. I like the way he played offensively. He plays 31 minutes, only takes 5 shots. They're 5 good shots, 1-3. Some cutting dunks. Can you even remember the ball like sticking in his hands on offense last night, even on one possession where it was one of those like, he's hesitant out there. And I do think that's at times what gets him pulled from the game because I think Steve Kerr just likes the flow. It's why he likes Lamb. Lamb just makes quick decisions. And then I just think he found good lineups to fit him in. I mean, he's a power forward. The lineup, a trio of him, Draymond and Lamb, Kuminga, Draymond, and Lamb. I put it in my article, but I think there's some like plus 77 and 114 minutes together this season. It just really fits. I don't, for various reasons, but I did feel more trust in Kuminga last night, but also like, man, they need unless Andrew Wiggins miraculously shows up at some point, he needs to play 30-something minutes in playoff series because they just need his athleticism and just the skill set that nobody else has without Wiggins here.
You think Wiggins is coming back? Because Steve Kerr spoke on that. I know you got to ask a question. He just missed his 20th straight game yesterday. Do you think the Warriors are now becoming more hopeful that he's coming back?
I mean, I've sensed cautious optimism for a little bit now, but he's not here. There's 2 weeks left, and I definitely. How it's not one of those situations where they know that for sure that he's coming back or he's not coming back and they're just not telling us. I sense they don't really know either. It's genuine. Hopefully, it's a genuine. I'm hopeful from them, and I don't know. That it's strange to me that it's what day are we at now? Day 45 or something like that.
That's crazy.
We'll see. I mean, we know what the stakes are. We know where the calendar is. The clock is ticking. I do kind of get a sense there needs to be some sort of declaration either way, right? Can't be sitting here with 2 days before the playoffs still not knowing. I mean, but maybe that's how it goes. I mean, they're clearly giving him his space and allowing him to decide when he wants to come back.
Was that JP's best defensive effort last night in the second half?
Ever?
I'm serious, yeah. I mean, he had multiple blocks. He was helping on defense at perfectly timed spots. It felt like he was staying in front of his guys. I don't know. We don't have a lot to choose from here when it comes to great defensive efforts. I'm just asking the question out loud.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's hard. I can't say that for sure, right? Because just thinking back on all the games, I mean, I think he was actually pretty decent in the playoffs last year. But yeah, I mean, he the last 3 games. Well, I didn't even go back to the end of the road trip, really, since he had a really bad Atlanta game, and then from Memphis on, so the last 5 or 6 games, I think he's just been attentive, focused, more physical than usual, and it's bled over to the offensive end. He's attacking the rim with more decisiveness, and I just like how he's playing. You forget hey, this is best defensive game in a long time last night. I just think this is his best stretch of games this season.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Anthony Slater here on the Morning Roast on 95.7 The Game. Our Warriors insider here on 95.7 The Game. Slates, Stephen Curry. I've run out of superlatives to describe this guy. And you saw what he did in that second half. I mean, he had a look in his eye that I've only seen from LeBron James in Game 6 against Boston, who was a member of the Miami Heat, Kobe, Michael Jordan. And he spoke on it after the game saying he's having a lot of fun right now because it feels like the playoffs have already started for the Golden State Warriors. I mean, it's really incredible that he's doing this at the age of 35, and I try not to take it for granted. What about you? And what did you see last night in this performance against the New Orleans Pelicans?
Yeah, I think he did not play well in the Minnesota game, and it was I think under discussed a little bit, right? Yeah. He went 8 of 23 in that game. I know one of the possessions that some of the people behind the scenes were mentioning that they thought really kind of flipped the game was that 3-on-1 layup that he kind of missed.
Yeah.
Obviously, he was part of one of the turnovers late. He wasn't, he didn't take the pool, 2-for-1 deep three, and he didn't have the Draymond turnover. But he didn't play that well.
2 fouls early. Remember, he was out of his rhythm. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he was a little frustrated by that. I mean, he understands what every game means, what that Minnesota loss still could mean. And then when and he just detonated, and he's capable of doing that. And when he mentions having fun, not only it did feel like a playoff atmosphere last night, but it's got to be fun to just be capable of that at the age of 35. He's just what he can do on the court is insane, and you saw it last night. It was unguardable stuff, and you could just see how deflating some of the shots he makes are for the Pelicans, like a young team that feels like they're about to win 5 straight, feels like they're about to take firmer control of their playoff destiny, and then Steph Curry just hits a bunch of shots, and they're just dragging their heads back to the benches. Draymond's yelling at them.
So, Anthony, I'm curious your position on this, because you obviously saw the team at Oracle when they were rocking and rolling, and I kind of kicked this to Bonte earlier. I went to the Bucks game a couple Saturdays ago, and I was just blown away at how loud the venue got at the most important times of the game. Obviously, the fourth quarter, overtime, it was unbelievable. I was so worried about replicating Oracle's feel, the Oakland Arena's feel in San Francisco. I feel like they've done a pretty damn good job replicating the atmosphere. What's your just overall opinions now that we're almost a couple of seasons in of high-level basketball at Chase Center?
Yeah, I don't think it replicates Oracle because there was an authenticity to Oracle, and it's interesting. I was having the same conversation the other day. I watched that Kings game the other day where they were trying to clinch with Brad Miller, and I was talking to Brad Miller, and bear with me here, but about the difference between Arco and Golden One. And it's kind of similar to me where it's people just love that barn that was Arco and what it could get to in Golden One. It's more upscale, all that, but it's gotten hyped up. And I do think Golden One's similar where you don't feel the fact that you're in Oracle and there's just something cramped in there and just the history of it. That's gone and can never be duplicated. But I was a little bit like you. I don't know, fearful might not be the right
Skeptical.
word. But, kind of, believing that there was going to be a staleness at Chase Center. And, the theater boxes, the second level suites, the bunker suites that split up the first level, which I've never seen in arenas. I just thought that was going to have a real impact on the atmosphere, and sometimes it does. Sometimes, fans aren't in those bunker suite seats until there's, 6 minutes left in the third quarter. And it's not a great look, right? There's still some of that, but it does get juiced up. And, a lot of that is the team, the great fan base, they bring it to life. But it's been impressive.
No doubt. And what do you think about a potential series between the Kings and the Warriors? Draymond Green said logistically it would make sense. All the travel they had last year with Denver and Memphis and Dallas and, of course, the Boston. That flight was 6.5 hours. It was rough for everybody involved in that one when it comes to that flight. But then, a lot of people, it seems like they want Sacramento in the first round. What do you make of a Warriors-Kings first-round series? Because Sacramento folks are starting to get a little arrogant about that one.
Yeah. I would say it's kind of a preferred situation for the Warriors because it means they escape the play-in, which is objective number one. Just don't be in 7 through 10. So you check that box if you're in 6. And then the question becomes, do you want Phoenix in a 4-5 with Kevin Durant coming back tonight?
Yeah, I'm kind of good on that.
Yeah.
Pass.
Or yeah, exactly. Or do you want a Kings team that is not playing particularly great right now? They did lose that home game to the Timberwolves the other day. They got blown out by the Celtics. They're dangerous. That's in my opinion kind of a toss-up series. But it's a more appealing match. It's clearly a more appealing matchup from a travel perspective, which Draymond said, and just basketball perspective, I think. But I would say this I don't believe is going to happen, but I think the option that could also appeal to them is if they could get in a 4-5 with the Clippers. That would require the Clippers winning right now. But is Paul George going to be back in the first round? That's a pretty bad knee injury.
Yeah.
And that might be a decent looking matchup, but that's hard to see happen because I think they would hop the Clippers to get into the 4-5. I don't think Phoenix is balling.
Yeah, that would be insane to play in the first playoff game in Sacramento in 16 years, and it's the Golden State Warriors. Golden One would be on fire. I mean, that'd be just electric. The first ever NorCal series since the Kings moved from Kansas City, and of course the Warriors since they've been in Oakland. So, I mean, it's going to be a lot of fun. Don't forget Norman Powell, I think, has been out for the Clippers as well for a while. He had the same injury as Stephen Curry with the shoulder. So, anyway,
Yeah.
Anthony Slater, good job as always. We'll be watching Suns and T-Wolves tonight, and if the T-Wolves will lose, Warriors will have that 6th spot all by themselves as they have lost the tiebreaker to Minnesota so far before we end the season. Anthony, good stuff as always, man. We'll see you Friday.
All right, fellas.
Anytime. Anthony Slater, our 95.7 The Game insider here on 95.7 The Game, of course.